The Poet X, pages 223 to 247. Part 3. The Voice of One Crying in the Wilderness. Silent World. All of Friday and the weekend, the world I've lived in wears masking tape over its mouth. I wear invisible Beats headphones that muffle sound. I don't hear teachers or Father Sean, twin or Caridad. Aman tries to speak to me, but even in bio, I pretend my ears are cotton-filled. I speak to no one. The world is almost peaceful when you stop trying to understand it. Sunday, November 11th, heavy. After Mass on Sunday, under Mami's knowing eyes, I step to Father Sean. He's kissing babies and talking to old people, but he gives me his full attention. I ask to meet him for confession, and I can't tell if I imagine it, but his eyes almost seem to get soft. He glances behind me, where Mami is standing. Instead of the confessional, he tells me to meet him in the rectory, the well-lit meeting space behind the church. And I don't know how much truth my tongue will stumble through. I walk through the side door and avoid looking at pictures of the saints. I'm always avoiding something, and it seems as heavy as any cross. My confession. How do you admit a thing like this? You would think I was pregnant. The way my parents act like I let them down. And by my parents, I mean Mami. Papi mostly huffs around, telling me I better do what Mami says. And Mami huffs around, saying I better read Proverbs 31 more closely. And I just want to tell them it's not that deep. I don't got an STD or a baby. It was just a tongue in my mouth. So I'm not quite sure what to tell Father Sean when I meet him in the rectory. Maybe I don't remember my Bible right, but I don't think this is one of the 7 sins. He sits across from me and crosses his ankles. Whenever you're ready, we can talk. I'm guessing you don't need anonymity, and I thought this would be cozier than the confessional. Do you want tea? I look at my clasped hands because I can't look him in the face. I think I committed lust and disobeyed my parents, although they never actually said I couldn't kiss a boy on the train, so I'm not sure if that's the right sin. I wait for Father Sean to speak, but he just stares at the picture of the Pope above me. Are you actually sorry, Xiomara? I wait a moment. Then I shake my head no. Say, I'm sorry I got in trouble. I'm sorry I have to be here, that I have to pretend to you and her that I care about confirmation at all. But I'm not sorry I kissed a boy. I'm only sorry I was caught, or that I had to hide it at all. Father Sean says, our God is a forgiving God. Even when we do things we shouldn't, our God understands the weakness of the flesh. But forgiveness is only granted if the person is actually remorseful. I think this goes much deeper than kissing a boy on the train. Prayers. Father Sean is Jamaican. His Spanish has a funky accent, and when he gives the gospel for the Latino Mass, half of the words be sounding made up. It makes the younger kids laugh. It makes our older folks smile. His Spanish, when he talks to my mother, does neither. His hazel eyes are sure and gentle when he looks at Mami and tells her, Alta Gracia. I don't think Xiomara is quite ready to be confirmed. I think she has some questions we should let her answer first. He explains it's not what I confessed, But several questions I've asked and comments I've made make him think I should keep coming to classes but not take the leap of confirmation this year. My mother's face scrunches tight, like someone has vacuumed all her joy. I avoid her eyes. But something must flash in them because Father Sean raises a hand. Altagracia, please be calm. Remember, anger is as much a sin as any Xiomara may have committed. We all need time to come to terms with certain things, don't we? And I don't know if Father Sean just granted me a blessing or nailed my coffin shut. How I can tell? I can tell when Mami is really angry because her Spanish becomes faster than usual, the words bumping into one another like go-karts. Mira, muchacha, you will not embarrass me in church again. From now on, you're going to fix yourself. Do you hear me, Xiomara? No te lo voy a decir otra vez. But I know she will, in fact, tell me again and again. There are going to be some big changes. Before we walk in the house, you cannot turn your back on God. I was on my journey to the convent, prepared to be his bride when I married your father. I think it was punishment. God allowed me America, but shackled me with a man addicted to women. It was punishment to withhold children from me for so long until I questioned if anyone in this world would ever love me. But even business deals are promises, and we still married in a church, and so I never walked away from him, although I tried my best to get back to my first love. And confirmation is the last step I can give you. But the child sins just like the parent, because look at you, choosing this over the sacred. I don't know if you're more like your father or more like me. My heart is a hand that tightens into a fist. It is a shrinking thing like a raisin, like a too tight T, like fingers that curl but have no other hand to hold them, so they just end up biting into themselves. Wednesday, November 14th, a poem Mami will never read. Mi boca no puede escribir una bandera blanca. Nunca será un verso de la Biblia. Mi boca no puede formarse el lamento que tú dices, tú y Dios merecen. Tú dices que todo esto es culpa de mi boca, porque tenía hambre, porque era callada. Pero, ¿y la boca tuya? Como tus labios son grapas que me perforan rápido y fuerte, y las palabras que nunca dije quedan mejor muertas en mi lengua, porque solamente hubieran chocado contra la puerta cerrada de tu espalda. Tu silencio amuebla una casa oscura, pero aún a riesgo de quemarse. La mariposa nocturna siempre busca la luz. In translation, my mouth cannot write you a white flag. It will never be a Bible verse. My mouth cannot be shaped into the apology you say both you and God deserve. And you want to make it seem it's my mouth's entire fault because it was hungry and silent. But what about your mouth? How your lips are staples that pierce me quick and hard. And the words I never say are better left on my tongue, since they would only have slammed against the closed door of your back. Your silence furnishes a dark house, but even at the risk of burning, the moth always seeks the light. Heartbreak. I never meant to hurt anyone. I didn't see how I could by stealing kisses as I whispered promises into ears that I know now weren't listening. I pretend not to see him in the hallway. I pretend not to see them at home. The ultimate actress because I'm always pretending. Pretending I'm blind, pretending I'm fine. I should win an Oscar, I do it so well. Is this remorse? Is this worthy of forgiveness? Reminders. I lie in bed doing homework while Twin watches anime on YouTube. He stopped wearing his headphones so that I can listen in. It's technically breaking Mommy's rules, but she would never punish Twin. Halfway through an episode, a commercial endorsed by one of last year's Winter Olympians comes on, and I must make a noise because Twin looks over his shoulder at me. He quiets his laptop. Are you okay? But I just bury my head in my pillow and remind myself to breathe. Writing. The next day and the one after that, I spend every class writing in my journal. Miss Galliano sends me to the guidance counselor, but I refuse to talk to her either until she threatens to call home, so I make up an excuse about cramps and stress. Hiding in my journal is the only way I know not to cry. My house is a tomb. Even Twin has stopped speaking to me, as if he's afraid a single word will cause my facade to crack. I hear Mommy on the phone, making plans to send me to DR for the summer. The ultimate consequence. Let that good old island living fix me. Every time I think about being away from home, from English, from Twin and Caridad, I feel like a ship at sea. All the possibilities to end up anywhere I want. All the possibilities to be lost. What I'd like to tell Aman when he sends another apology message. Your hand on mine were cold. Your lips near my ear were warm. Your I'm sorry fervent. But you have no need to apologize. I know silence well. None of this was ever about you. You were just a failed rebellion. Of course, I'm lying. You were everything. But I can't have you without entering a fight I won't win. I know none of these were battles that I wanted in the first place. Wednesday, November 21st. Favors. The night before Thanksgiving, Twin pulls my headphones out, offers me a sliced up apple and a soft smile. You haven't been eating much. I take the plate and stare at the fruit, surprised he's even noticed. I'm just not hungry. I eat everything but the seeds because I know that Twin is worried, and I really can't resist apples. Xiomara, can I ask you a favor? Will you write a poem about love? One about being thankful that a person is in your life? I look at my brother blankly. I wonder if he knows how close he is to having his face pierced by apple seeds. Something in my gut rebels against the apple, and I feel it wanting to come all the way back up my throat. For a second, I think of all the poems that I wrote for Aman, but I push the thought away. I shove the plate at Twin. You want me to write a love poem for white boy? Was that what this app was all about? Twin stares at me baffled, and then something clears on his face. He pulls my empty plate against his chest like armor. His name is Cody, and the poem was actually for you. I thought it would be cathartic to write something beautiful for yourself. Pulled back. I'm helping Mami dice potatoes and beets for her ensalada rusa when the phone rings. She answers and passes it to me, and I can't imagine who it is. Caridad's voice screeches in my ear. Listen, woman, I know you're upset. I know you got a lot going on, but don't you dare ignore me for 2 weeks straight. Just because you got your cell taken, you can't call nobody? And instead of getting angry, I actually tear up. It's such a small thing, but also so normal. Caridad never takes my shit, and she lets me know this time is no different. She sighs and her voice softens. I'm worried about you,Cio. Don't shut us out. And she can't see me nodding through the phone, but I murmur an apology and tell her I have to go. And I know she knows I'm really saying thank you. Thursday, November 22nd, on Thanksgiving. El Día de Acción de Gracias. Twin and I join Mami at church and help spoon mashed potatoes and peas and other American things we never eat at home onto homeless people's plates. I feel sick the whole day, like everyone can see that the only thing I'm thankful for is Mami's silence. Even Twin, who looks at me with his puppy dog face, makes me want to overturn the table and crush all these mushy peas beneath my heel. Haiku. The best part about Thanksgiving was when Mami returned my cell until I remember I've got no one to text. Rough draft of assignment 4. When was the last time you felt free? I must have been 5 or 6 because the memory is fuzzy. But my father had been watching a karate movie on TV, and my mother was at church, so there was no one to bother us. Twin and I tied long-sleeved t-shirts around our heads and used the bows from my church dresses to tie like karate sashes around our waists. We thought this made us look like ninjas, and we hopped from couch to couch, sliding off the plastic sofa covers but never landing in the lava. Why were we ninjas in volcanoes? Who knows? I remember at one point looking up and seeing my mother in the living room doorway. I flung myself at her. There was freedom there, in flying, in believing I'd be caught. I can't remember if she did catch me, but she must have. Or wouldn't I remember falling? Rough draft of assignment 4. When was the last time you felt free? Maybe the last time I was happy saying a poem, with Aman listening to me, eyes half closed. That moment right before I opened my mouth when I was nervous and my heart thumps fast, but I knew I could do it anyway, that I could say something, anything in this moment, and someone was going to listen. Rough draft of assignment 4. When was the last time you felt free? Can a stoop be a place of freedom? I feel like any time I sat on a stoop, I could just watch the world without it watching me too closely. Over the summer, it feels like years ago, the downstairs stoop was a playground. It was a moment when I could breathe without anyone asking me to do or be anything other than what I was. A girl, an almost woman, sitting in the sunshine and enjoying the warmth. Dudes don't bother you too much when you're sitting on your own apartment stoop. When I sat on the stoop with the boy I thought really cared for me, there was freedom then too. In the ways our bodies lean toward each other, in the fact that I finally let myself be reckless. There is freedom in coming and going, for no other reason than because you can. There is freedom in choosing to sit and be still, when everything is always telling you to move fast.